Okay. Anybody comes? Okay, hello. We have a bit of a issue with scheduling with this next speaker. It's like both of them won't be available, so hope that Mike King and a couple more people are going to join, and we'll have more of like a panel. So just give it a few more minutes for people to figure out, hopefully. Hey, hi, Mike.
Yeah.
So the worst comes to worst, and I just got like 20 minutes ago, probably less than that, from Roman, who was supposed to do a panel about multi-instance crypto trading agent, which was the next one, that sadly he won't have any electricity in his region for the next, or until Monday.
Yeah.
Probably, if so, he had to cancel his talk, and I moved the talk that was supposed to be at this time over to that slot to give the speaker more time, because this next speaker, his plane was delayed, so he might be arriving late. So I want to give him as much time as possible to make it. Mm-hmm. And if not, I'm right now writing to Lehman to see if he would be willing to take that slot over. In the meantime, what we're going to probably do here is, as Mike, as you suggest, to have like a community panel from people who show up. So if you want to be on this panel, if you are right now as in the audience, just raise your hand and I'll add you in. And in the meantime, feel free to chat what if there's like some topic you would like us to cover. If not, I'm sure we can always find some nice topic to talk about.
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah. But let's give people a few more moments. Let me. Let's see. Just a lot of things going on right now. But anyhow, this is been changed to a community panel. I'll explain one more time again in just a few more moments while I try to kind of sort out the mess that happened due to speaker for the next talk having electrical failure and the current one being delayed due to plane. Things are getting strange. So, let me switch to just this camera. To again rephrase what's going on here. Sadly, the speaker who was supposed to do the next talk has canceled because his area does not have electricity and won't be having it till Monday. And the speaker who was supposed to have a talk about freelancer space is right now coming from the airport or on a plane because it was delayed. So I moved it to that slot. So yeah, this hour will be a bit weird. And hopefully if we don't have a speaker for the next half an hour, we have Guilherme de Bruyne, who is going to take over the next slot. So we shall see what's going to happen there. Hopefully I have reached Guilherme. Let's see if I can. He can't. So it looks like, yeah, if you want to be on this panel where we will talk on different topics, feel free. And then we'll just have to go how things come. All right. This will be a community panel for any topics of interest. If you want to be on this panel, you're currently in the audience, just raise your hand in the Zoom meeting and we'll be happy to add you. And in the meantime, Mike, I will start with you. What are your initial thoughts after seeing the survey results?
Yeah, looks straightforward, I suppose. I mean, one thing it's like not of the results, but what could ask is about, advocacy or, the future of Meteor. Those would be sort of interesting questions. What do you think the lifetime of Meteor is? I mean, certainly the number of releases that we've had in recent times has gone up. Like releases were quite slow before, but now, we got 1.8, 1.9, we're into the 2s, 2.5. So certainly the level of activity has gone up a lot.
Yeah, let me see if I can find we have anything related to that.
Are there questions on it about features of things that we'd like? And I think I completed it myself, but I don't remember the details of it.
Yes, there were, that was a open-ended question. So some people went like wild and wrote, a lot of stuff, and some obviously left blanks, and I just didn't have the time to really, with everything else happening, to finish going through that and put that into some form of a graph or just bullet points. But I can, if needed to, I can probably have kind of look on some of the written questions. We can maybe discuss them. So that was, I think, one of the things, that Hugo has a nice question. As someone new to Meteor, my question is, why is Meteor not more popular than this? Hugo, do you want to come in and kind of elaborate on that, or talk to us about that, or should we just take it off? All right, so Hugo, I will allow you to talk. It should move him. Okay, Hugo, take it away.
Cool. Like I said, I'm quite new to Meteor. I've been working on a different project part-time in the evenings for a while using it, but more on the display layer, the view side of things, using Vue. But from what I've done and like going through some of the tutorials and setting up, we are going to be using it going forward, as I said yesterday, for an educational project. And from what I've experienced, it is quite powerful and painless, in most of the cases, and it does allow to develop with quite some speed, So I was just wondering, like with all the pros, why isn't it more popular? Like what's the downside, or what's the development communities? Why aren't they jumping onto it? I know Meteor's been around for years because. Quite a couple of years ago, I had a first look at it, and then I don't know why I didn't, go ahead with it back then. I think it was probably pre-1 release, but since then it's still stuck around, and it's improved, better than ever. But still, you don't hear any chatter on Twitter or, on the dev plat or dev blogs or people making noise. You have the other stuff, but never anything really Meteor.
Uh-huh.
I think it's kind of a victim of fashion, because there was a moment in time when Meteor was kind of red hot. It had the reactivity, it had the integrated database, it had a build system that, at the time it was gulp and grunt, and that was pretty ugly. And Meteor just kind of said, we'll wrap all that and we'll give you reactivity, and people were going, holy shit, this is amazing. And then it went over that hump, and then Webpack came around, and there were other things, not necessarily better, but there were other things that became popular. And then there was this sort of, Meteor's dead, blah, blah, blah. And there were some scaling issues with it maybe, but it's all a matter of how you write it rather than it's a fundamental problem with it, like anything. So it's almost like it's lost momentum. And people may have looked at Meteor in the past and they go, oh, yeah, that was a thing a few years ago, but it's not anymore. So they don't actually look at it again.
Yeah, and you have that also with the other frameworks. There's constantly, something new, and people constantly jump on it. Also, another thing I would kind of say that a lot of people who are using Meteor are not on Twitter. They don't have, or they don't, go out and do presentations, or they are not the hot developers, because they are working. They are working on building their apps, on trying to build new businesses. So that's kind of like another thing. It did not I would say, appeal possibly to the hardcore developers who like to, build everything themselves, and control everything to the details. But it appealed more to the, say, maybe the weekend developers, or like startup world, or not even like, let's say, the startup world, but people who just, really focus on the product and less on the technology bit. Because with Meteor, you don't have to think about the build system. You don't have to think about deployment. If you use Galaxy, you don't have to think about hundreds of things when it comes to running a production server. And with a lot of these things, it's just, switch a flip in the Galaxy admin, and it's taken for you. And that kind of comes also like with, again, the, hot topics. When I was talking with Alim Ghaffar a couple of weeks back, one of the things that he noticed that he told me is, that the, new hot things in, corporations or like companies in general is, to have really DevOps, our DevOps, or even like a bit in developers, that you do DevOps. That's to a certain thing, what's currently hot, and that it costs money, and there are like tools like Galaxy that can do most of it for you. That's kind of lost on, or at least that kind of, it seems to be lost from my perspective on those people. So things like this, and it just right now, it does not fit into the sense, kind of taste of people who drive the conversation. So, and usually, with a lot of these people, if they're kind of, these drivers of conversations on social media and elsewhere, usually, once you will notice that they oftentimes switch technologies and stuff like that. So that's kind of antithetical to Meteor. Of course, you can constantly switch, your front-end layer and other things. But usually, once you make the decision with Meteor, you kind of stick with them. So that's kind of, it might feel in a way a bit conservative. So for people who are kind of constantly on the edge, that's probably not really that important, or like kind of does not appeal to them. And they kind of make, if they're like, they make more money out of, for example, the engagement that they sometimes they are also advocates for specific other technologies. So it's kind of hard to say, but it's not probably cool for them, because it's Meteor has been here forever. A lot of it, there's been a lot said about it, and there isn't, at some point you kind of reach, I think, or for people who are not, who are just not that deep in it, you can reach a point where it's like, okay, I think I've said everything that there is to be said about this. Or at least that's how I kind of see it, and maybe I'm completely wrong.
Well, look, I mean, there's lots of different dimensions to it. I mean, you can see Meteor as like like an all-in-one package, So it's like, it's a bit like the all-in-one computer. Like if it's a Mac, then it's okay. But if it's a Windows machine, nobody wants an all-in-one computer, because they want to be able to upgrade the hard disk or do that, this or that. And there's this trend towards this sort of component development and microservices and micro front ends and everything. You can swap them in and out, and you can do whatever you want. So the trend is towards that, and Meteor kind of says, well, I just own the whole field and I give you front end and back end integrated, and people shy away from that. And I think it's kind of foolish, because the cost of going to componentized systems, like, yes, it's great, and yes, it's more flexible, but it's going to cost you a lot more money to build it.
Yeah, it's also kind of ironic, because most of these developers, who have that opinion, they fawn over the latest Mac thing and stuff like that. And if you say, oh no, you should try, maybe Linux or stuff like that, they just go like, well, Apple is my thing, how dare you? So
Yeah.
That's what I like often see as well. So it's kind of hard for it's with Apple, kind of my opinion is it's mostly, especially lately, a lot of marketing and shiny. So, and in that way, Meteor has a long way to go, because when MDG abandoned it, abandoned it or kind of switch priorities, they kind of say drop the ball on these marketing front and stuff like that. So there has been no official activity and nobody really pushing it except for a few community members, and that's is kind of what a lot of these maybe say prominent people remember. So it's kind of then hard to, and once you at some point you kind of, once you move on, you move on and you don't come back for the most part. So that's kind of where also this comes in, and that's kind of where I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, when we initially started off with this project, I was very reluctant to do it in Meteor because it is quite a I see it as being quite a huge thing at the like project at the end of the day, and I haven't heard much of it, but the other partners sort of convinced me just to look at it again. And once I've gone through, like the just getting started tutorials and stuff, I just realized how much time it's going to save us. And that's why I was thinking, like it's very strange that it's not more popular in the startup world, because it sort of gives you everything that you need to move fast, and surely you would want to move faster. I mean, Ruby on Rails has now recently, started picking up slightly again after it had a slump, but
yeah,
my choice would still then rather be Meteor because of everything that it gives you, like it's just going to allow us to move fast with a small team. I mean, we a couple of people, you can't get all that done in any other framework, that's just what I'm saying.
It's completely sensible, but people seem to be blind to that. Yeah, I mean, one of the real weaknesses of a lot of startup thinking is that they go, right, we're going to do this startup and it's going to be a massive business, so we have to build a scalable platform from the get-go. And it's like, actually, no, you don't. It doesn't matter whether it's scalable or not. Basically, what you need to do is get your app to market. And if you then have a performance problem or a scaling problem, that's a great problem to have because it means you're doing a lot of business and you can then actually afford to re-engineer it or redevelop it. But, getting from the get-go that you've got to have this incredible scalable architecture means that you're going to take longer to get it to market, and you may even miss the whole opportunity, or you just have to pour more and more money into it. So yeah, it's kind of tragic in a way that people think that way and they think about the wrong things, and it's quite common. They think about the technology first, and it's like, oh, I've heard about this new thing, like let's use that thing and not do what we're here to do.
Yeah, that's kind of, when you have, say that's kind of, for example, with the universe, for me, I'm, engrossed in the technology and everything, but I know that I need somebody to play the CEO, to be the CEO, to kind of direct my creative energy in a more productive manner and to be there, to kind of get the customers and everything else around it, which, I know I cannot do or I'm not capable of doing efficiently. And a lot of times what I've seen with people, that's kind of, lost on them, that they can think that they can, that they know the best. And it's, just a tunnel vision. So it's kind of on that. And so another point to that is, as you mentioned, is a lot of the times, these new application. They're like, they look like super polished and have, big marketing and look really nice. And not that Meteor doesn't look nice or anything, but it's, it does not generate for many people like the feeling that, for example, Apple generates, the brand loyalty, and that also comes with it, and all the stuff around it. So, which is kind of still a bit strange to me as well.
Yeah. So Hugo, have you managed to convince your boss or whoever you need to convince that Meteor's a good idea?
Well, it was actually the other way around. They convinced me to use it.
Okay.
But so we're in a bit of a weird business. We actually a bunch of idea people that's got a lot of ideas, and we've actually got one product running on Meteor in the restaurant industry, where we're basically taking on the way that the restaurant business is running. So the application actually takes care of so much. It's like a POS system. We've got a security module which has got live cameras hooked up to it. We've got actually smart fridges that weighs your stock and sort of tells you you've got like 10 steaks on the scale type of thing. So it's like it's quite a big system, and that's running quite well. We're actually launching it's been running in a couple of other restaurants, but there's one big launch happening next week. We're actually installing kiosks and all those things as well. So it's quite an interesting picture that has been come up.
And this is all in Meteor?
Yes.
Yeah, wow.
Yes,
okay, so have you got quite a team of people, or is it just a couple of people?
We are 3 developers.
Mm-hmm.
So just 3 developers at the moment. We should be more, but in total we're a team of 6. So we've got one guy taking care of marketing and sales type of thing, and the rest of us, one guy's on the hardware stuff like the cameras, the kiosks, the scales, those type of things. And then we've got 2 oaks full-time on development there, and then I help out, whenever I can on the view side, the pretty side of things.
Yeah. So are these guys all boot fighters?
Are they all?
Boot fighters.
I'm unfamiliar with that expression.
You're from, where are you from?
South Africa.
South Africa, right. Yeah, I've got a South African friend. This is a bit of a diversion. And he showed me this guy called Eddie, who's a South African guy, and he has this game called Boot Fighter. It's quite fun.
Yeah, no, I remember now.
You know it? Yeah. So yeah, it's
yes.
It's probably not politically correct, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
but it's fun.
Yeah, you started using the word oak, and it made me think about he uses oak all the time. And he taught me all these words at work, and I started using them in the wrong context. Like in a meeting, I'd said, "Oh, that's a moffy thing to do." He goes, "Don't say that! Don't say that!"
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. But thanks for your time. It's interesting, and I hope somewhere in the future we'll be able to contribute more to the Meteor community. I do think that like the community is obviously the biggest thing that drives any product, like open source products. So hopefully somewhere along the line we'll also be able to jump in and contribute.
Yeah, look, I think there's a whole bunch of stuff that people are working on here and there, and it's all kind of under the radar. That's the problem, I think, that they're doing some amazing stuff, and like it sounds like what you guys are doing is good. And then I've been working on some stuff, and then the guys from Vasco are going, "We've done exactly the same thing," and I'm like, "Okay, it must be a good idea then, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
but
I would kind of like to use this opportunity also kind of to encourage people to not be afraid and submit their talks to Impact and do Meteor meetups and everything, just to advertise their ideas and get things out there. That's kind of, I think, what we need more is connecting in the community.
Yeah. I mean, we had a regular meetup in Melbourne for quite a while, and there were the guys of Tim Coleman was living here, well, he still is, I think, and contributing in a big way. So there was actually a strong Australian Meteor presence and group. So that was quite strong, but it was always quite a small meeting. So maybe the opportunity is to make it more of an international thing. So collectively, we've got more strength. There are challenges with time zones, of course, but like with Pathable, that you can record the meetings and then listen in later. I've got a lot of catch up to do for the last day already.
Yeah, if you go to meetups.meteor.com, that's what we use for meetups. I will be reminding everybody again in my next talk about Meteor community in that regard, and that's going to continue. This month we haven't had anything because it's Meteor Impact, but maybe next month. It's usually there's like at least one meetup a month, so you just need to find it. And we'll probably skip December because it's a holiday season and everybody's all over the place.
Yeah, look, I'd like to go to more. I mean, time is the problem, just finding the time to attend them all. Quick question, Jan. One of the guys wanted to get the recording of our presentation.
Yes, I've already answered him. All the presentations are recorded. They will be also on YouTube. Speakers can also get them in the talk management section.
Okay, cool. All right, good. Yeah, I think he was quite proud of what he did.
I'm going to drop off. Thanks for your time. I need to go get kids at school.
Thanks, Hugo. Look, keep in touch and, share and talk and, be interesting to see what you've done. You should showcase what you've done.
Cool. We'll do sometime.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. See ya.
So yeah, we have 7 minutes before we are hard kicked. I have not seen the next panelist, so I've canceled that session just right now. And that will be kind of, I cannot put anything in the next half an hour because I will be soon started preparing for my next talk, which will be with Superface. So I will be preparing for that because that's going to be quite a big workshop to get everything ready. In the meantime, are there like any last questions or something that you want us to tackle here from the audience? Right now I'm just in the middle of switching to the view of the Pathable chat.
All right, that's cool, Jan, if you've got to go. So you're doing the email sending.
Yeah, I have
Superface.ai.
Yeah, it's so let's see. Let me put it so resilient email sending and other APIs integration with easy in Meteor. Yeah, so pretty much it's going to be about how to make resilient email sending in Meteor with Superface AI.
Cool. Yeah, I'll come along if I can stay awake. I'm beginning to fade.
No problem. As always, it's all recorded, so so you can always watch it later. I have also to make some offerings for the gods of live demos. to make sure everything works fine. I think we've kind of caught all the bugs now, so fingers crossed.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Jan.
Okay, thank you very much, and I will all see you
See you next time.
later.
Yeah.